Today, we're going to talk about building a better product through AI, and it's anecdotal tales of manufacturing from about manufacturing because I'm an old manufacturing guy. So, being from the South, I'm from South Carolina. I had to look up what anecdotal meant because I had a boss one time that told me that I was just telling too many anecdotal tales, that I needed to focus a little bit more. So I looked up anecdotal, and he was right. So let's talk a little bit about. First of all, before we go anywhere, before we do anything, let me make sure I get these buttons right. There we go. We got to start with a safety review. One thing that we always do at Launchpad and a lot of the places I work, you got to start with a safety review. So if an alarm goes off, I've already searched this out. You're going to be behind me because I'm going right through those curtains and out that door. Okay, so just be aware, if there is an alarm goes off, I'll be the first one to panic. You'll have to be behind me because I am not going to be the slowest gazelle. All right. Also, my boss requires that we take attendance. So here's how we take attendance at these events. Everybody smile. You got to do the selfie. Here we go. Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. Got it. So we took attendance. So we did a safety briefing and we did attendance. So now let's move on to the next slide. I am, like I mentioned earlier, I'm an old manufacturing guy. I turned 65 a couple weeks ago. I started in manufacturing at age 17 when I was working on my first degree. I got an associate degree in industrial engineering. I got a bachelor's degree in business. I got an MBA, and I got a PhD in motivational management. Big whoop. So, and you can almost buy anything on the internet nowadays, can't you? So, I am from the South, like I said, raised in the South, where we drink our tea sweet. We say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, thank you. And on social media, the worst thing we ever say on social media is, well, bless your heart, right? So, I started out in manufacturing on a drafting board, not even on a computer, in drawing burning patterns for an optic eye torch. Then they moved me up to where I was doing G codes for NC machines. That was even before CNC machines, doing the tape, getting machines to run that way. And my first computer I ever worked on was actually a Radio Shack Tandy. So that tells you how old I am. But thanks to promoting incompetence, they got me out of, and I made it out with all my fingers. I got to work and start in supervision, leadership, and doing other things. So I am not a sales guy. I am an operations guy. So a sales guy, here's the way. I think a sales guy is going to tell you what you want to hear. An operations guy is going to tell you what you need to hear. Is that right? So, I mean, give me some feedback here. I'm dying here. So, okay. So sometimes during this conversation that we'll have, I may go off track. I may go squirrel and tell you about some of these anecdotal tales, but you can see from those pictures, I mean, I started in 1977 working with manufacturing, so I got a little bit of knowledge. So let's talk. I was told that's smart manufacturing. I looked that up on the internet, and I got that, and they said this is how the modern factories should work. And it all should be connected and all that. And to me, that didn't look like very smart at all. I grew up, and my manufacturing experience when I first started was I had a operations manager, or plant manager at the first facility that I worked at, his name was Gordon Beatty. And Gordon was a very robust gentleman, played in the Canadian Football League, and walked around smoking a big cigar when he walked through the plant. That's when you could do that. He knew everybody's name. And there was 450 employees in the plant. He knew everybody's name. He knew what their spouse's name. He knew a lot of what was going on with their kids and all that. He knew everything on it. And his management technique, let me make sure I get this right, was MBWAA, management by walking around aimlessly. So you would go up to him and they would go, well, Mr. Beatty, I can't find, it's out back on this and that. He knew where the inventory was in the plant. But he would hang out in the shipping department, not because there was a very attractive lady back there, but because he said if things aren't going out the back door, then he would work his way back up through the manufacturing process to see where the bottlenecks were. And that's how he managed manufacturing plants. But this is the way we said we're supposed to manage manufacturing plants now. We manage them by spider charts and Excel spreadsheets. And operation manager, plant managers, they never get out of their office, they never talk to employees. So I long, being from the South, I long from the days of Mayberry. Anybody know the Andy Griffith Show? Somebody's got to have, nobody has seen the Andy Griffith Show? She's seen the Andy Griffith Show. He's seen the Andy Griffith Show. I long for the days of Mayberry when a guy named Gomer or Goober, there was both, could fix your car. And Sarah connected your phone calls. You just picked up the phone and said, Sarah, I want to talk to the diner. Now I got this bloody thing, and I can't live without it. I mean, with Apple CarPlay and Calendar, I mean, I don't have to know, my brain goes dead. I just plug it into whatever rental car I get, and it tells me where I'm supposed to be next. So when it comes to manufacturing, I think manufacturing is broken. And we need to find a better way. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking a little bit about now. So there's got to be a way to blend manufacturing back to the days of Mayberry, I think. So manufacturing is broken in my mind. So let me give you a little brief history. This is not a sales pitch. I know I'm not allowed to talk too much about the company. But the founders of Launchpad were two gentlemen. One was Bill Gross, who founded Idea Lab out in Pasadena. He started like 30 or 40 different companies. And the other one is Yoav Zingler, who came from the UK, who started a green energy company over there. Sold it, made a lot of money, came over here to LA, or to LA. And they met each other, and they both agreed that, first of all, manufacturing a product is just way too difficult. It's too much of a pain, it's too difficult, and then it takes too long. So that's the one thing that they had in common, was that we've got to find a better way to make product, okay? So the dream that they had was that you design something in, let's say, AutoCAD or Fusion 360 or SolidWorks, and you can be able to go to a button in the upper corner once you design it and say, I want to build 50 of these, and boom, machines automatically go to work doing that. That's the concept. So you want everything to happen in real time, so they want to be able to get the feedback from that CAD design and all. But right now, it just takes way too long to manufacture something. And manufacturing's lost its appeal, and we need to bring that back. So to quote Justin Timberlake, it's time to bring sexy back. All right, so manufacturing needs to be sexy again. Manufacturing needs to be fun again. I remember when I was many years, manufacturing is fun. I enjoyed it. I had fun doing it. It's gotten way too difficult. So, lost my clicker. Manufacturing, I think, is sexy again. And why all of a sudden it has become sexy again is because there's better ways to do that. There's a dynamic shift happening in the manufacturing area, and AI is bringing that to us, okay? It used to be the products, again, when I was growing up, it used to be when you plugged them in, like a toaster, you plugged in a toaster, and the toaster didn't have to boot up. It didn't have to connect to the internet. But now you got toasters that have to connect to the internet. Your refrigerator has to connect to the internet. Every friggin' thing has to connect to the internet. So again, that goes back to Mayberry. Mayberry, it should be, manufacturing should be a lot simpler than it is right now, okay? We all talk about Industry 4.0. I say Industry 4.0 is broken. If you want to go on Amazon, you can do that. But not only is manufacturing broken, Industry 4.0 is. But to take a product, and that's what we're talking about here today, to bring a product from concept to reality, if you're running a small lot size, the only way to do that is manually. Is craftsmen doing it, making one part, making 10 parts. Prototype to small lot production has to be done manually. If you're going to make 1 million of something, then you can automate it. You can automate the assembly, and there's great and wonderful people out there. But there's this huge gap between making prototype small lot sizes and 1 million of something. And that gap is where we need to focus, and AI can help us. Okay? If you're bringing a new product to market, a small product to market, you can't afford to do what the big guys are doing. So, in my mind, that gap, small lot size, small production is now sexy. Small production is now beautiful. And here's how we can work on that. So, small is beautiful. So, the goal is, software is easy to design and bring to market. Hardware is much more difficult to bring to market. So, at some point, when you get out there, the whole idea of companies and people that develop product is to bring it out and grow that to where you're making millions of the same thing. That way you can automate it, you can reduce the cost and all that, but then you're stuck in what that specific design is. And I want to challenge us to think a little bit that consider when you bring a product to market, either you as an entrepreneur, an inventor, or you as a company, that you should bring it to market and then make changes, improve it, and bring that next to market version. This is not the first iPhone. The one I have, I think this is a 13. I mean, I can't afford a 15, but this is a 13. But bring new products to market, always innovate, always do that. Now, how can we do that and still keep the product, still keep the cost at what we need to do? So small is beautiful, but now that you can bring products to market in a small lot size, now we're talking about what we call a true game changer. One of the things I'll show here is, and I'll get slightly out of squirrel, sorry. Slightly off topic, I have a customer here that actually came with that sketch, and he's out of Texas, so he likes his guns, but he has invented and got a patent, and that's his actual sketch, and the product that you see over there is a 3D rendering, and we're going in production for him, and but it's a fingerprint gun lock to put his long rifles in his truck that hooks to the seat belt. So, but it started with that. So what we talked about was innovating, bringing new market, agile, let that be version 1 and go version 2. So again, the old traditional way to bring something to market, if you had that sketch, to do that in the past, and our two founders of our company have found this out, is that you have to come up with a design. That takes a while. Then you got to go source it and find out. You may go offshore. This is pre-pandemic. You may go offshore. You may go, and by the time you actually get the product here, and to do it at a financially justified rate to get the cost down, you may have to buy hundreds of thousands of the same product, okay? And you buy it, and it comes from offshore. You bring it over here, and you find out that the customer doesn't want to handle this way. The customer wants it this way. You spent hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it, and you've lost probably on average 2 years from the time you came up with the concept to the time you tried to bring it to market. Those 2 years, that's a lot of money wasted, and it's a lot of time to market wasted. So how do we improve that? The idea is to be able to use AI to take from concept to 3D renderings to prototype, or to CAD to prototype to production, and be able to do that. Now with AI that learns from all the different things, the more that you upload, the more you ask AI, the more you ask it to do, the more it learns, and the more iterations that it comes out with, and the better product that you come out with. And now that can be done in a matter of weeks. What used to take months and years, you can now do in weeks, okay? So an entrepreneurial mindset, the small things, and doing this as a game changer is, I challenge you to think about that small mindset when I ran manufacturing plants, the idea was, I convinced all the leadership was that we need to think about if we're building this product in our own 2-car garage. You don't want to, don't get caught up in the red tape and all the stuff that you have to do with big companies, but have that small company mindset. One thing that AI also helps us to do now is on designing that product, we can go what we call from soup to nuts, from the sketch to production using AI to do that. So there's software out there that you can upload your CAD file, and it analyzes the entire assembly, and it says, can I assemble it, first of all? Will it even go together? And does it give me in software that gives recommendations on how to improve it? But also, let's say you're designing this thing, and there's a lot of designers out there that love that when they design a product, that's their baby. They love it, and they don't want to change it. But you can upload this into software, and it will search the Internet of Things, and it will come back and say, you know what, you have this designed for a 4.2-inch LCD screen on your product, but the standard across the market is a 4.5-inch screen, and you'll save tons of money, redesign it, and upload that into the CAD file, and off you go. So AI can do that for you. In addition, the idea of bringing products to market is you design it, press a button, machine's already go to work doing that. We have that today. We have that today where you can upload a CAD file, machines start going to work. First thing that comes to mind is 3D printing. 3D printing, you can do that. You upload a CAD file, it starts printing your product. There's also, you upload a CAD file, and you can assembly robots actually start going to work putting your product together from the CAD file. Vision, AI controlled, all that. So that is happening now. So it is incredible that AI-driven software can now take you from soup to nuts. We talked about small earlier, but let's talk about complexity. It used to be that complex designs really were a problem. You wanted to keep your design as simple as you could. Well, complexity is now our friend because, again, you upload a CAD file for 3D printing, complexity doesn't cost you any more than simplicity in 3D printing. You can print a very complex product just as simple as you can print a very simple product. So, where is the sweet spot for AI going forward? If you're making pens, like the big pens or pencils, you're making millions and millions and millions, and there's no iterations. There's no version 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Where AI and complexity really comes in to help us is when we're building the Internet of Things. We're building this toaster that has to connect to the Internet. We're building, let's say, a Nest thermostat where you're able to, you want to have new things come in. Even like Tesla. Tesla builds a car, but then you get automatic downloads. So AI is our help in manufacturing to be able to do that. Okay. So let's talk about two more things. Green manufacturing. The idea is, and this and the next slide that we talk about is, I think we all agree that AI will help solve us our design problems, our quality problems, costing, those kind of things. But building product offshore or near shore gets very costly now. And I think we all learned that during the pandemic when all the supply chains shut down. If we can build local, we're not shipping stuff all around the world. So now we're greener. We're building a product where we want to sell the product. It's easier, it's simpler, it's better for the environment, it's faster to the customer. Okay? That leads us to what we call cluster manufacturing. Our vision, or my vision, and again, I've been involved in manufacturing a long time, is now that we move to manufacturing in the region where you want to sell it. So if in South Carolina, where I'm from, the handle wants to go this way, I can upload a CAD file, press a button, and immediately 100 units are being built in the southeast to sell and distribute in the Southeast. But if up in the Seattle area where my oldest son lives, if the handle is supposed to be turned vertically, then we can press a button and build 1,000 units up there. So cluster manufacturing, and that can be either micro factories where you have everything in, you have 3D printing, you have hardware, all feeding into a robot that assembles it, or you partner with people like, let's say, you get proto labs, you get automation, and you get suppliers all within the same region. And that happens in the major cities where you want to sell. So somebody anywhere in the world can design a product and then have it made in the region using local manufacturing, using AI to control the cost, keep the cost down like we talked about, but also be able to then sell it in that region. No need to be able to transport that stuff all around the world, transport components all around the world, but build it in the region that you want to build it. So, manufacturing a whole new frontier right now. So, like I said, any entrepreneur, anybody could sit in an internet cafe, come up with a sketch, upload it to somewhere that the IP is controlled, and be able to begin manufacturing. We're close to that. We've got components of that. You see it out here. You see it at different events. So we're very close to that. And I think that is what I would, again, forget Industry 4.0, move to Industry 5.0, and that is where you upload and go. So, in summary, since we're down to 5 minutes, manufacturing is broken both globally, regionally, and locally. AI manufacturing is here now. There's a lot of people out there that's doing it already. You can turn complex and expensive manufacturing into easy, cheaper AI-driven software that helps you with that manufacturing. You don't lose time on creating new product features. You want to, again, come up with version 2, version 3.0, 4.0, and be able to hit the market with that. It's faster, cheaper, greener. Industry 5.0 is here now. It's here today. So come take a look. If you want to stop by booth 6, I got to put in a plug, otherwise my boss gets real up. We all have bosses. So we're over in booth 618 to come check us out. And, I did have a test question early on, and I forgot to mention it. So first of all, any questions about that before I get into the one question I have to do because my chief financial officer wants me to do it? No question, okay. What year did we land on the moon? If you believe we actually put people on the moon. I know there's people who don't believe that, but so what year did we land on the moon? 1969, very good. It took until 1987 for us to figure out to put wheels on the bottom of luggage. We landed men on the moon in 1969, but it took till 1967 to do that. And putting wheels on luggage caused the airplane industry to completely redo the way that they do their overhead bins. So I say that, first of all, because my chief financial officer wanted me to tell that little story, but also because when you develop something, either as a company or an entrepreneur, those changes can ripple effect. And there's ways to do that using AI to be able to control your cost, be able to control your supply chain, and be able to bring the market much faster, and then be able to make changes on the go, all from design. The goal is to upload a CAD file or upload a sketch that turns it into a 3D rendering using AI, turns it into the CAD drawings, sources it all, you press a button, and you say, I want to build 500 of these in the Southeast, but I want to build 1,000 up in the Northwest, and immediately machines go to work making your product. So, any questions? That's all I got. Come see us at booth 618. Thank you, thank you.